The story of Ashes of the Damned is based all in one nation, and that is Sacrosands, a nation based on Egypt, Spain and Japan, all together in one nation. The nation is very broken. There once was a time where it wasn't, and everyone believed in 5 different gods with 5 different elements. But as we got older, the nation had broken. Demons and vampires roamed the nation. People became more political and more wanting power, control. There are 31 places that you can visit in this nation, so let me show you. Nico Harbour is the only way to actually get into the nation. It is the only harbour they have that boats are actually allowed to go into. It's the only area that is very peaceful and very kind for human beings to go through. Far away from Nico Harbour is Chin City. This is also a very kind and friendly place to actually go to. It's very peaceful and you're very close to the seafront. Moving next is Sana Village, which was actually named after a god who is the god of air. Sana made this village, but unfortunately a few years ago it got destroyed by demons who had raided the village and unfortunately made it very abandoned. Only a few people live into that actual village because most people had moved down to Hana village. Of the most dangerous cities are here. This is Nico City, and Nico City is based on electric and cyberpunk. Nico City is named after the god of electric, Nico. And Shinjuku is the city right next door. They're right next to each other. So basically, Nico City does kind of lead into Shinjuku, so they both are both. Both of the cities are very unsafe and very military orientated because a lot of the military stands outside of Shinjuku. Since vampires had taken over a few years ago, Shinjuku had been left to rot. It's been left as the most unsafe area because vampires have started making demons and also have a few bots roaming the city. Unfortunately, the military can't always keep on top of Shinjuku. Obviously, they can't do everything. So the city has just been left to abandon. Only a few heroes will go in, or a few top tier people will go into Shinjuku. But apart from that, the city is abandoned and there's no saving the city, basically. Part of Shinjuku is that there's also a demon forest right next to it as well. The demon forest is an area where all the military has basically tried to catch as many demons and put them into a forest that has a wall around it. Unfortunately, this forest means that young heroes such as Rei and Scarlet will have to go into that forest and try and get rid of as many demons as they can. Unfortunately, this forest does lead to not many heroes or humans coming out alive. It is very sickening, obviously, because they do send out the youngest ones, and sometimes the oldest ones do come in, but they're not as fit as the youngest, so they kind of try and dominantly make the younger ones go into the demon forest. The Demon Forest does have a hotel outside, so Ray and Scarlet can live in that hotel, but most of the time is in that Demon Forest, and that Demon Forest is the worst possible place because there is a Demon King, and that Demon King is known for making more demons. Sagawa Natashi, or World Side City, is actually going to be one of the worst cities as a human being to even visit, just as a tourist. As you can tell from red, it's very powerful and it's very controlling. That is basically what the city is. This city is known for fighting because the leader is very controlling, manipulating, and very like structured. He has an idea, he has a vision, and he wants it. The city is grand and very gorgeous, but the people who run it, obviously one of the men, I haven't got a name for him yet, but he is the leader, and he is one of the horriblest people you will meet in Sakura Sands. Manipulation does come into this city, very big. It's very manipulated and it's very controlling. He is very sexist of a man. Nowhere else in this nation is sexist, only this city. He kind of makes all men in the nation over 18 join the military. Like, that is practically what they have to do. And if they don't, they go to prison basically, and he can basically control them and try to like hypnotize, not really hypnotize, but like pressure them into like, if you don't do this, we can just, and you'll be gone, basically. He's a horrible man, and funny enough, he actually has a niece. And his niece has tried standing up, but obviously he doesn't listen to women, so that is one of the worst things this man does. This nation is full of politics around the whole nation. He wants power, he wants control. He actually tried getting rid of the main person of this nation, the one who actually found this nation, who are Bi-fon, who I'll be talking in a bit about. And as you can kind of tell from it, it's supposed to be like the most luxury city ever, but you shouldn't go there as a tourist or even like just a person in general. It's very strict. The streets will be full of military men. There's actually a military base outside. If you saw on the map, there is a military base outside. So it is very strict, and unfortunately the worst part is he wants to kind of use his power and control to take over different areas of Sakura Sands. The main one he is trying to fight over is the one and only Peace Bay. Nada City and Vana City are both right outside of the main city, so they're kind of connected to the main city, that is Sakura Sands. And Sakura Sands is where most of the heroes that you know and love, like Arwen, Zu, Alice, Beidou, and all those are from. It's actually also the city that Bi-fon lives in, and basically is a city of cherry blossoms that I thought was really pretty. So the main city is actually very well protected, full of military, so it's a very nice city that is actually safe for once, because it is very well put together, because Ua is living in that city and she hasn't really given anyone else the power for that city. So that one's the actual safe one to go to if you want to be safe. Now, going up to the topper end of Sakura Sands is Hyrule, or Hyrule Zone. So Hyrule Zone is one of the worst areas now to be from. This is basically where Arwen's origin is from. So she basically was born and raised there until she was about 6 years old, and then she had to flee because her father, Cole, had set fire to the whole area. The area now is flooded with giants, and also the army is involved because how can one man set fire to so much? It's very, very weird, right? So this area is very, it's off limit to every single person, and the military is very protected of this area because they're still investigating on what on earth has happened, because many people have gone missing and areas was burnt because coal burnt everything, and it's very, very suspicious of an area. Not many people can go there, as I said, and it is very, very strictly protected. Human actual city. This is the main desert city, and unfortunately the main desert city has also got its own law. Not long ago, about 12 years ago, so when A was about 6 years old and Noda, all my OCs basically was all 6 years old, the desert city had gotten attacked by vampires. Weirdly enough, all the vampires had gotten rid of many adults. The main desert city actually has a king, and that king is Koya, who you may have seen in my voice claim video before. Koya was only 6 years old when that outbreak happened, and he actually lost his father in that time. Unfortunately, he did actually lose his mother after childbirth, 2 weeks after birth basically. So Koya then at 6 years old was basically given the throne, and obviously as a 6-year-old he was very clueless, he didn't know what to do, so no one was on the throne until Koya turned 18. He's actually 19 years old, but instead of going by Koya and by king, he stuck with Prince of the Desert. So his name is kind of hidden, so no one knows his name. Only a few people who he likes knows his name. Apart from that, no one else knows his name. He is now the Prince of the Desert because he didn't like the name King, and he thought he wasn't worthy to be king, even though he kind of has to be king because who else is going to be king? He has no other family. He's on his own. Koya runs this desert, and because of that horrible thing of the outbreak of vampires, unfortunately the desert is very poor of an area, and a lot of the people who was born in the desert is not allowed into the main areas of Sakura Sands because of strict ruling in some areas. Not every area, they're allowed in the Sakura City, but the desert city tends to keeping themselves to themselves. They don't really like going out. The vampire region is based on the UK, and mainly the UK, but specifically London and Wales, because I'm from Wales, so I needed some Welsh in this. Me being sneaky, come on now. So the vampire region is an underground city for vampires. The top villain of this nation, the whole villain basically of the whole plot, is Queen Kano. Queen Kano is the queen of the vampire nation. She is actually the one who created demons. Yes, demons, as I said before, don't really come just naturally. They didn't just, they just didn't become a thing. They was created by this woman. This woman basically was like, guys, I got an idea, let's create demons, and she did. Well, she didn't, but her minions did. Like, all the ones who is lower down beneath her made demons. She is one of the most powerfulest women in my series for being a villain. She's very good at that, actually. She was queen for years and years since she was younger, and her being queen, and because she looks innocent, no one thinks of her being the strongest, powerful woman there is, because she looks cute and innocent. Like, a pink-haired girl won't do much evil, would she? No, she is. She's the worst person you can possibly do. She actually has 2 kids who I'll be showing as well after her. We got Oz and Mumble, and they have huge amount of lore, and it is very traumatic, I would say. Kano unfortunately did have a huge impact on Oz, specifically his life, and Oz is her oldest son. Now, growing up for Oz, he was supposed to be he was supposed to be heir to the throne, right? That is canonly how it was supposed to be. A man is heir to the throne. Yeah? Okay? So she, throughout his whole life, since he was 6 in vampire years to 17 in vampire years, has always been the only child until Mumble was born. Growing up, Oz was told that he was going to be king. He was going to be the one to rule the vampire nation. He was the one to be basically the one that everyone looked upon, you know? He'd be the king. But when his baby sister Mumble was born, his mother turned and basically started to favourite Mumble. And when Mumble was only a baby, not even a month old, Kano, had told everyone in the vampire nation, my kid Mumble is going to be the queen. Oh, this rubbed Oz the wrong way. This was awful. Oz was fuming because he was told his entire life that he was supposed to be king. He was supposed to be the next to the throne. And he got it all taken away by one person. Obviously, his little sister. This man had a huge villain arc. He is also like another villain as well. He wanted, throughout his whole childhood, he wanted to get rid of his little sister. I mean, she's in his way, isn't she? So he's gonna be like that. And he tried for years. He was trying to do it, but he had one problem. His mother could get rid of him in an instant. Yeah, this man, if he tried to hurt his sister or even just do one thing, like a little punishment or something, you know, just even touch her basically, his mum will basically just, and he'd be gone. So Oz had to think long and hard, but since his sister found out that she was next for the throne, his sister became the worst person possible. She became the most spoilest brat there was. Everything because her mum had given her the attention her whole life. Mumble thought she was above everyone, including Oz. And Oz hated that, obviously. But because he didn't want to get in trouble by his own mother, Oz was sent to just do normal vampire stuff by just, you know, going out and hunting humans like it's a normal thing. And Mumble obviously was able to have her beautiful, she was spoiled, she was loved by everyone, and she loved the attention. Unfortunately, I will tell you a bit of spoilers that this girl is not going to survive because she does get, and then, you know, she doesn't live that long, okay? The, like, power of being, like, royal kind of gets to her head, and Oz gets a second chance because, I mean, to be fair, he was the one who kind of got basically manipulated into being like, yes, honey, you're gonna be like the king one day. And then actually when his sister was born, nah, you're not being king anymore. You don't even deserve that. So basically Oz deserves a second chance. Mumble doesn't. Mumble doesn't even try to, you know, communicate or anything. Mumble does actually, for a while, she does turn evil, basically, and evil doesn't suit her. Well, it kind of does, but it's not one of the best things. So, Kano basically then takes the throne again. And Kano will always be the most powerful queen the Vampire Kingdom has. The woman who started it all and found the nation, Bi-fon, known as inspired by Toph Bi-fon from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Just to get that out of the way. Bi-fon was a child who was from a royal family in another nation. Iwa never wanted to be royalty. She never even wanted to be a princess or even a queen one day. She never wanted any of that. So at 14 years old, Iwa ran away from home and found the nation of Sakura Sands. When she found the nation, hardly no one was living there, and it was all just a natural, normal area. Iwa actually was the first to ever meet all 7 gods, because she met all of them that I'll be showing you later on. Bi-fon is definitely the one that everyone honors, respects, admires, just loves. Iwa is actually kind of half blind, and she holds a earth element that was given to her by Sayu, one of the gods, and the god of earth, in fact. Iwa actually didn't move alone to this city, to this nation. She moved with her 2 best friends, who are the 2 husbands by her side her entire time. Iwa has 2 husbands, as you can see. One on the left is the bio dad for all her children, and the one on the right is just a helping hand, basically. But they both supported Iwa when she ran away from home, and both loved and cared for her even after and forever. Iwa is definitely a big inspiration for the nation. She has her own statue, because I picture them having statues and stuff, and I thought that was really cute. Iwa actually does have 9 children, I think. Either 9 or 10, I actually don't remember. But she has a lot of children, and they're all with that one man, okay? Iwa had basically brought this nation together with her powerful debates and her being linked with the gods of the nation. Iwa found this when obviously she ran away from home, and her parents have been trying to find her for ages. But Iwa will not go home because she's found her own home now. She's actually made her own home because she created this whole thing. Iwa, as I said, is very respected and the actual president of the nation. Iwa does have some old habits that she kind of carries, and some old law, because she was basically raised in a certain way. That can be very controversial to how people are today. Unfortunately, some rules are very strict and others are not. But Iwa has tried to welcome everyone who wants to come in with open arms and care for them. And if they struggle with can't finding housing, guess who will buy them a house and will pay the first sets of rent for them? Oh yes, Bi-fon. Bi-fon is such a family person that she would take in and help anyone she can possibly help. And her husbands obviously support her in anything and every way. Iwa does actually have a granddaughter who is actually inspired by me, and that is Bi-fon, who I spoke about in my lore video before. Or actually was Meet My OCs. I don't know if I should redo that one because I feel like this one has a bit more lore to it. Bi-fon admires everyone and basically has taken in this nation and tried to build it as strong as possible. Unfortunately, vampires and demons with along people who are political do get in her way in time to time. She just wishes everything could be peaceful. Moving on to the main actual Bi-fon child, who is the mother of Arwen and also the father of Arwen as well. We got Gracie, Bi-fon and Cole. I actually don't have a surname for Cole. I was going to use my actual surname and I was like, yeah, let's not, for safety reasons. Anyway, Gracie is the middle child, or probably like the third eldest daughter of the Bi-fon family. Gracie, growing up, was actually in the military as well, kind of like Arwen was. But Gracie, unfortunately, did have to quit because she did have kids, and she also had an accident that was very life-changing for her. Gracie met Cole when they was in high school together, and at 16 and he was 18, they both had their first child, who is Callum Bi-fon. Callum was the one, unfortunately, who kind of, when he was born, Cole turned to the worst. Cole used to be a hero as well, but for some reason something shifted in Cole and he became abusive and just the worst type of human being, like manipulated and threatening to people. Cole went down his villain arc, basically, and no one understood why he even became evil after having his first child, because normally, obviously, having a first child means that you should love and care for your child, but for some reason he just didn't. And over time he started pressuring Gracie to have a son, or try and make him more sons, basically. Gracie actually did end up with 4 sons, so she had Callum, Leo, Haru, Ash, and then she had 2 daughters, who is Arwen and Freya, and as I said before, Freya is actually based on my real sister. Cole, unfortunately, he is one of the worst villains as well, and no one really knows how he even became a villain. Like, people think it's because he just went insane and his fire element maybe got out of control, but there could be something more to it that we don't know of. Moving on to the gods of the nation. So as I mentioned, there are 7 gods in total, and the first god, who is the main god, is Minori. Minori is the god of water, but she does have all the other elements with her. Her family are actually gods. You probably noticed that all the gods here are all females, and that's because at the moment the male gods have left Sacred Sands. I haven't actually thought about a law for why they left at the moment, but they had left, and left Minori in charge of the whole nation on her own. So Minori picked out these new gods who you'll be seeing in after Minori, and I do actually have a bit of a story that I want to do. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. It's still in my mind, but I kind of think I wanted to fall in love with a demon. I know it's kind of like against the rules for the gods, but I thought it'd be kind of fun, but that's still in the works. The ice god, May. May is one of the ones who kind of lost their position, because if you didn't know, in my god rules, they're not allowed to have kids unless you're a biological god like Minori is. So May unfortunately had lost her role of being the ice and snow god. May is now living in the human world with like Arwen, Noda and all my other OCs. She's a normal human being, and obviously she doesn't have that long like a god will have, and like they all live forever. Humans don't live forever, so unfortunately she will be kind of like, she'll be about 30 now in the human world, whilst before she would be like immortal, so she didn't have to worry, but now she does. And guess who took her place? Miku here has taken her place. Miku has now become the snow god, but she's not as big as all the other gods because she's just a snow fox, and she is Minori's familiar. When you're a familiar, you don't really have, even though she's being given the power to be like a god, she's still a kind of lower rank than all the other gods. Even though Emiko is very loyal to Minori. Emiko does have always been loyal and always actually helps Minori when Minori couldn't like deal with being like the top goddess there is. So Emiko is definitely a very loyal familiar to Minori, unlike one god, the god of electric. But before the god of electric, he is Sana, and Sana is Nico's best friend. Yes, the god of electric's best friend, but Sana is very loyal to Minori, even though Sana is the god of air, and she is very, very smart. She is the third oldest, because it would be Minori, Mei, and then Sana, and then obviously you have Nico, Sayu, and Yua. Emiko doesn't come into this because Emiko's a fox, okay? And Sana is very loyal. She's a very loyal friend, but one little thing had happened a few years ago. If I kind of took inspiration from Genshin Impact with the Archon War, but this is the Goddess War. And in the Goddess War, Nico and Minori here had a bit of an argument over Yua, who is the youngest god of all. Nico never liked Minori, just in general. Like, Nico just didn't like how powerful Minori was, and just thought Minori was a bit of a selfish person in general, like a selfish female. Nico is a big hater of Minori. Everyone else in the nation obviously respects Minori apart from Nico, because Nico thinks that Nico is very respected, but she is very forgotten. Like, she is the most forgotten god out of everyone in the nation, unfortunately. Out of all the gods, the people of the nation forget about electricity. Like, this is your girl. Yeah, so out of all the gods though, Nico is the most reliable. She's the most, like, sensible one. Unlike Minori, who is not very sensible and actually got into a fight with Nico and started that war. Nico has completely lost respect. And here is another selfish goddess, but the goddess who has the best taste in heroes. This is Sayu. Sayu is the god of earth, and Sayu is very selfish. She just thinks about herself. But she does have, as I said, the top heroes. She literally has the best choice of people to give her element to. Like, she's literally giving it to the person who found the nation, Bi-fon. Like, bro, you can't even get better than that. And she's giving it to, like, Oliver, Arwen, Raven. I can't think of the others. But she is very, like, she's very generous and very good at picking out good strong heroes, unlike Minori. And for the last god, the main last god, is Yua, the god of fire and the youngest. Unfortunately, she was the cause of the Archon War with Nico and Minori, because Yua actually got kidnapped by Shota, the god of evil. And yeah, Minori thinks of Sayu and Yua as sisters, and that is why it kind of got really heated, because Nico is not like Minori's sister, even though they actually dress the same. If you notice their outfits are very similar, and that's because Minori forced Nico to have the same outfit and was like, yeah, you're not getting anything else, me and you are gonna match, because Minori basically wanted Nico as her best friend, but Nico basically was just better, and Minori didn't like that. Now, this is actually another god, but she's not the main one. She's the god of the sand, and her name is Noya. Noya is inspired by the sun, but she's the god of the sand, as I said. And I kind of wanted maybe to link into like Egyptian history and stuff, and maybe make her linked with
Anubis.
Fun fact, there's actually not many characters with the element of sand at the moment. Only Ray has it, and I'm kind of still trying to work out how he could use that in a forest. Yeah, I think I should have gave him earth instead, but you know, sand is okay. this skill is a very underrated god because she's not the top god like all the others. She is the Egyptian god and the god of the desert of my nation. So she is very believed mainly of the desert people more than anyone else in the nation. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching to the end. And I should hopefully make another lore video of all my OCs next time. I kind of, as I said, do want to recreate my Meet My OCs with Me because that video kind of didn't really go down the basics. But I hope this one kind of explains more my world building and story lore, more just around the whole how the world even started in my brain. But yeah, enjoy all the art that's in this video and I'll see you all in another video. Goodbye for now.
Puedas ver que salimos del suelo y abrimos el mirar al fuego en nuestra mano. Habló en lenguas, el tambor fue el sol. Bailamos en aliento, con silencio en el pulmón y el tiempo se borró. Somos el fuego, somos la mano, creamos el sueño, hicimos el plano, nacidos del cielo, paridos del llano. El fuego, somos la mano. Moldeamos el metal y aprendimos a mandar. Nombramos viento y sol, nos cubrimos de poder y pedimos. No cambió, seguía en la piel y el polvo susurró, recuerda tu valor. Somos el fuego, somos la mano, creamos el sueño y